training door arrives in a wooden shipping and storage crate that measures roughly 4 feet by 8 feet by 2 feet. A forklift or some other form of heavy transporting solution will be necessary to move your training door to the setup location. Your training door arrives with the following: 2 hinged and 2 standard brace bars that will form the A-frame, a top and bottom bushing, all the nuts and bolts required for assembly, and an assortment of consumables used for the breeching exercises. Please note that assembling your training door will require at least 2 people and should take between 10 and 15 minutes. Immediately prior to assembly, lay out 1 hinged and 1 standard brace bar on each side of your training door. Keep the top and bottom bushings within easy reach to minimize construction time. The assembly location of your training door should be indoors and away from the elements, and provide a minimum of 5 feet of clearance on all sides. The door must be held firmly in place until the first side of the A-frame is established. As one individual holds the door securely in place, the other will begin assembling the right-hand side of the A-frame. Begin by aligning the hinged brace bar with the bottom of the door frame and inserting the first 2 mounting bolts. Once in place, pull the upper portion of the hinged brace bar away from the base and secure it against the upper door frame. After the hinged brace bar is securely in place, the standard brace bar is affixed to the top of the training door and the forward side of the hinged brace bar, forming the first triangle of the A-frame. All bolts should be finger tight at this point and will be wrench tightened after the A-frame is fully established. After assembling the right side of the A-frame, the top and bottom bushings must be attached. The top bushing is installed on the upper outside edge of the training door and the flange extended towards the door. The bottom bushing is installed at ground level, mirroring the top bushing. After the bushings are securely affixed, the left side of the A-frame is assembled. Begin by aligning the hinged brace bar with the bottom bushing and follow the same procedure as for the right side of the A-frame, securely affixing first the bottom of the hinged brace bar, then the top. Use a wrench and ratchet to tighten down all nuts and bolts, ensuring complete stability of the training door. Wooden shims or brake sticks are used to simulate inward lock points at the top and bottom of the training door. By inserting 1 or more brake sticks into the top and or bottom shim slots, instructors can replicate a wide range of lock difficulties. Outward lock points are simulated with the use of a 5/16 steel rod inserted into 1 or more of the 6 lock points on the inside edge of the training door. Perishable skins are used to replicate security plates, allowing training with the edge bender tool. Removal and installation of the perishable skins requires unscrewing the 4 bolts holding the skin in place, sliding off the used skin, and sliding on a replacement. New skins should be tightened down securely to provide maximum resistance during breeching exercises. The ram cage on the inward side of the training door accepts 3 24-inch long 4x4s to replicate a ramming surface. This allows training on the mini ram tool without risking damage to the surface of the training door. Place your pry blade between the door and the frame at a 45-degree outward angle of attack. For best results, the tube of your multi-pry tool should be positioned over the lock or deadbolt. Strike the sledge against the head of the pry to move the pry blade further into the gap between the frame and the door. Change the attack angle as necessary to widen the gap between the door and the frame. As you widen the attack gap, pause periodically to allow your partner to strike with the sledge and provide you with additional penetration. Once the pry blade has achieved full penetration, reverse your close hand grip on the multi-pry handle. Pull away from the door firmly with your far hand while keeping forward pressure on the pry blade with your close hand. As the attack angle increases, breach becomes increasingly likely. In a tactical environment, procedures and results will be nearly identical to your training. Initial placement is key, and the closer you can get the multi-pry edge to the lock or deadbolt, the better. From placement to breach, the entire process should take no more than 15 seconds. Place the pry blade between the door and frame. Ideal placement is 12 to 18 inches above the floor. Pull upward on the multi-pry, creating an attack space for the claw end of the multi-sledge. Initial placement for the claw is directly below the pry blade. Press firmly against the door with the claw head to widen the initial attack gap, and then hold for repositioning. Reinsert the pry blade directly below the claw head. Be sure to maintain force with the claw head while the pry blade is repositioned. Twist the pry blade upwards to enlarge the attack space. This allows retraction and reinsertion of the claw head further up the door frame. By repeating this process, you and your partner will walk the claw head and pry blade up the door frame, alternating between applying pressure and repositioning. As your efforts approach the center of the door, breach is increasingly likely with each new application of force. In a tactical environment, breaching an inward door typically takes more time but produces less noise than an outward door. Timing is crucial. Neither tool should be removed and repositioned until the other has established enough force to maintain the attack gap. Note that in the event of a damaged or irregular door, the process can be reversed, allowing you to attack from above instead of below. For best results, the multi-breach pry blade should be positioned between the door and the frame as near as possible to the lock or deadbolt. Strike the mini ram against the head of the pry blade at regular intervals to increase attack depth. Pulling or pushing the multi-breach between strikes will slightly change the attack angle, allowing increased penetration. Once the pry blade has achieved full penetration, complete the breach by pulling away from the door firmly with your far hand, while keeping forward pressure on the pry blade with your close hand. On stronger, more secure inward doors, using the pry blade of the multi-breach tool coupled with the claw head of the multi-pry tool allows increased leverage and force application. Place the pry blade between the door and frame. Ideal placement is 12 to 18 inches above the floor. Pull upward on the multi-breach, creating an attack space for the claw end of the multi-pry. Initial placement for the claw is directly below the pry blade. Press firmly against the door with the claw head to widen the initial attack gap, and then hold for repositioning. Reinsert the pry blade directly below the claw head. Be sure to maintain force with the claw head while the pry blade is repositioned. Twist the pry blade upwards to enlarge the attack space. This allows retraction and reinsertion of the claw head further up the door frame. By repeating this process, you and your partner will walk the claw head and pry blade up the door frame, alternating between applying pressure and repositioning. As your efforts approach the center of the door, breach is increasingly likely with each new application of force. The edge bender is invaluable when preparing to breach outward swinging doors that are protected by security plating. The edge bender pulls away security plating and provides excellent access to the attack gap between door and frame, making the breaching process significantly faster and more efficient. Begin by setting the edge bender securely against the lip of the security plating as near as possible to the lock or deadbolt. Use the claw head from either the multi-pry or multi-sledge tool to provide back pressure against the head of the edge bender. Once securely in place, use two hands to twist the edge bender handles in smooth clockwise motions to activate the peeling mechanism. The claw head should continue applying firm back pressure to the edge bender while performing the peel. Push the edge bender against the door and withdraw to finish the peel. The mini ram is a great choice for a single-person breach on any inward swinging door. Position yourself close enough that you can touch the mini ram head to the target area without twisting toward the door. During training, the most efficient point of attack is the center of the cage. In a tactical situation, the lock or deadbolt should be your point of contact. Each strike should land within an inch or two of your chosen target. Swings should be powered by the torso while keeping the arms firmly in position. When striking, use your core strength by twisting your torso, following through with both arms. Use your close hand to aim and your far to provide acceleration and power. Note that your feet should remain firmly planted during your strike. If the first strike is unsuccessful, continue striking with the same force and tempo until breach is achieved. This is a quick and easy breach for one person using the claw head of either the multi-pry or multi-sledge tool. Introduce the claw between the door and frame directly over the lock or deadbolt. Stabilize the tool with your close hand and strike the heel of your far hand on the tool head to ensure penetration. Maintain grip with your far hand and place your close hand on the handle of the door. Push the tool away from the door with your far hand and turn the knob with your close hand. The gap created will allow the door to swing open.